Hello again. It's another week and it's another word with Dave. Today's word comes from Joshua 9, reading from 14 to 21. And it reads, "The men of Israel sampled their provisions, but did not inquire of the Lord. Then Joshua made a treaty of peace with them to let them live, and the leaders of the assembly ratified it by oath. 3 days after they made the treaty with the Gibeonites, the Israelites heard that there were neighbors living near them. So the Israelites set out, and on the third day came to their cities, Gibeon, Kephirah, Beeroth, and Kiriath Jearim." I don't know if those words were pronounced correctly, but names of some cities, yeah? "But the Israelites did not attack them because the leaders of the assembly had sworn an oath to them by the Lord, the God of Israel. The whole assembly grumbled against the leaders, but all the leaders answered, 'We have given them our oath by the Lord, the God of Israel, and we cannot touch them now. This is what we will do to them. We will let them live so that wrath will not fall on us for breaking the oath we swore to them.' They continued, 'Let them live, but let them be woodcutters and water carriers for the entire community.' So the leaders' promise to them was kept." The word of the Lord. So the topic for today is seek before you go ahead. Seek before you go ahead. Now, a little background to this story. I think some weeks ago we talked about Joshua taking over the reins from Moses and now leading the Israelites. So now they're in the new land, the land of Canaan, and they are pretty much wiping out different civilizations off the face of the earth. But most of the things that they were doing, God was telling them to do it because the people that were living at the time were doing, evil. They were practicing child sacrifices and all kind of different evil things that wasn't pleasing in the sight of God. So he instructed the Israelites at the time, with Joshua being the leader, to pretty much get rid of these evil people, yeah? And so different groups, different ethnic groups were around, and they were hearing of the victories of Israel. Now, they came up on the Gibeonites, and the Gibeonites didn't want to be wiped off the face of the earth. So they tricked the Israelites, yeah? They tricked them and pretended that they were, just some different people. And they signed an oath with the Israelites that they're not going to attack them. But they find out that, they got tricked. And the main reason is that they just went ahead without asking God. Sometimes we tend to do that. We jump in front of God without asking any questions, without seeking Him first. Especially if we're on a roll, like things are going good for us and everything has been going, successful. Sometimes we just run ahead of God and don't bother ask any questions. Now, that is something that we need to be very careful of. That we need to always seek God when we have some kind of big decisions to make. And we need to be careful when we're being, we're on a roll, where we're on a successful roll, that we don't run ahead of God. So we must always try to practice praying, reading His word, and just having that fellowship with God, so that we can always go to Him at any and every time, especially in some big decisions. I remember when I was seeking to buy a house in Japan, and everything was going well, and then decided, all right, going to buy a house. Everything was going well until I started getting some anxiety attacks because I didn't know what I was doing. I run ahead of God without even asking any question. Things work out anyway. Just like with the Israelites here, things worked out. But the Gibeonites they caused a lot of problem with them. I mean, they helped them out in the long run, but they were causing a lot of problems here and there every now and again. Right? So consult with God first before you run ahead. And trust that God will take care of the situation for you and show you the right way to go and the right thing to do. So trust Him, seek Him before you go ahead. Amen.